Oh yeah, we're finally going to talk about Battle for Azeroth. Some of you guys have pointed it out in my YouTube comments, but despite the fact that Battle for Azeroth is out and all this news is coming out about Battle for Azeroth and the alpha's out, haven't really been making too many Battle for Azeroth themed videos and just been doing other things, exploring other games and doing this, that, and whatever. But you know what? Today, we're going to talk about Battle for Azeroth, and I'm going to tell you guys what to expect from the questing, specifically what to expect in Kul Tiras and what to expect in Zandalar, because not everybody is in the alpha and they're getting to explore the new zones and stuff. So let's just lay it out, and let me tell you guys a little bit about what's going to happen to you in this expansion. But first, look at my Pepe. I love my Pepe. This isn't going to come as a very big shock to most of you, at least I don't think so, but the questing in Battle for Azeroth is very similar to Legion in a lot of ways, and in that respect, also very similar to Warlords of Draenor. In Warlords of Draenor, Blizzard sort of really, I think in Warlords, Blizzard really perfected the questing model, almost. And then in Legion, they did a really good job again, although I will say that Legion was a little bit linear in some zones, but in this zone, in these two like continents, Kul Tiras and Zandalar, you're gonna get something a little different. One of the things that Blizzard probably got criticized on with Legion is, again, that linearness of some of the zones, especially places like Val Shara and stuff. I mean, how many times have you guys saved like Malfurion and helped Tyrande? You're probably sick of it by this point. Well, what Blizzard is doing in Kul Tiras and Zandalar is you have a linear story that you're gonna follow. You're gonna, help Tyrande find Malfurion again. But as you're going through the world and as you're going through this main story, you're gonna find a lot of quests. Now, this is how things kind of used to be a long time ago. You just sort of wander around and you'd be like, oh, look, a quest. Like, where did this come from? So it really kind of brings back that old school feeling of discovery rather than just following a path and then eventually be given a choice like, hey, do you want to go left or right? And then you just follow the left path and it eventually circles back to connect with the right one. Instead of getting something like that, you actually do have these side quests that you can do and these little side stories you can pursue. And I personally really like that. It adds to the exploration element of the expansion, and I think that's really cool. So kudos to Blizzard there. In the same vein as Legion and in Warlords of Draenor, you can probably expect a lot of cutscenes. Now, I will admit, I have not quested through all the zones yet in this expansion because I don't want to quest through everything and then have the entire experience ruined for me when the expansion actually comes out. But in the time that I have played it, I have seen placeholder things pop up saying, hey, a cinematic is going to play here. So I am fairly certain that there's going to be quite a good handful of in-game cinematics that we're going to see, similar to the the Frostfire Ridge conclusion in Warlords of Draenor, or the cinematics we saw all across the Legion with like Ysera's death and so on and so forth. Rest in peace, Guardian of Magic. You were my favorite dragon. And so on and so forth. Now, along with the cinematics and all that cool stuff, which I personally love, considering how I make WoW machinima, and these are in-game machinimas, so that's pretty cool. But anyway, aside from that, you're of course going to get your loot boxes that you're going to find hidden around the world, little treasure chests and stuff that you can open up and find cool little things in. No artifact power this time though, so sorry guys, but you're going to have to deal with gold and gear and all that mumbo jumbo and yada yada yada. Very similar to Warlords of Draenor. There are mini bosses scattered here and there and everywhere, and surprisingly, now this was the big one for me. This one really surprised me. Surprisingly, there are group quests in Battle for Azeroth. Yeah, group quests. I will admit that seeing group quests popping back up in this expansion is a very big surprise to me. I have not done them personally because, again, I want to keep a lot of stuff like a mystery for me. I don't want to ruin it. But I've gotten these quests and I've been like, whoa, this quest requires 3 players? Well, that's nothing that a Blood Death Knight can't handle, right, guys? High five? High five. But no, seriously, a 3-player group quests? Cool. If it actually requires 3 players to do, cool. So you're going to see some group quests in this expansion. So I like that. I very much like that. I've been bitching about that for years. Bring back the group quests, and it's exciting to see it, like, you know, having a presence. Overall, though, if you want my opinion in terms of the story and the atmosphere and all that mumbo jumbo, I do find Kul Tiras to be a lot more interesting than Zandalar, but that's just me. I'm not a big fan of trolls and that whole like ancient Mayan Aztec feel, blah, blah, blah. Not really a big fan of that stuff. Not really a big fan of jungles and whatnot. I prefer my spooky dark forests and whatnot because I'm an edgelord. So I really do like Kul Tiras a lot more than Zandalar, but that's just my opinion. In terms of story, though, I think the Zandalari story is a little bit more interesting, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but you'll see it. I might not be a big fan of troll lore, but I do find the story in Zandalar to be a little bit more interesting. So, yeah. If I had to complain about anything, because I don't want this video to be nothing but pros, because somebody will accuse me of brown nosing. If I had to complain about anything with the questing, I would have to say that I'm still not entirely sure how I feel about this whole Horde and Alliance start on separate continents thing, and they only see each other after they hit max level. I don't know if I like that yet. I don't know if I like it or if I don't like it. It's sort of just a new feeling. I mean, I'm a PvP player at heart. Like I like to kill me some Alliance. I like to kill the opposite faction. I think it's a lot of fun, and I especially enjoy the world PvP that comes with the release of a new expansion. So this expansion, it doesn't seem like we're going to get too much of that, and that makes me kind of go, oh. But I mean, it's not a big deal. I'm not sitting here like fuming angry or whatever. It's just different. I mean, I really enjoy the crazy little skirmishes that happen across the new questing zones when a new expansion comes out. So this is a little bit different, but I mean, the best PvP happens at max level anyway, but I just enjoy my world PvP. But if there's anything I could complain about, and that's not even really a complaint, it's just kind of like oh, this is different. I don't even know if I can complain about it yet. I got to really experience it when the expansion comes out. But I mean, that's it. That's really all I got. For the most part, though, I think the questing it's solid, it's fun, it's enjoyable. It's not anything mind-blowing. It's not like there hasn't been a moment where I've been like, wow, like that was just as cool as Wrathgate. Like there hasn't been a moment like that for me yet, but I haven't quested through the entire zones. So maybe somebody else who has could maybe elaborate a bit, like in the comment section, and be like, oh yeah, dude, at the end of Zandalar, like frickin' Tyrion Forgeling shows up, comes back to life, and he stabs Illidan through the chest with the Ashbringer, and then Arthas comes back to life, and he resurrects Kil'jaeden as like an evil undead Eridar, and then Kil'jaeden uses the power of necromancy and fell magic to raise the old gods from the ocean or something. I mean, maybe something like that happens at the end of the zone, and I'm not aware of it yet, so I don't know. But for the most part, it's good. Nothing crazy, nothing mind-blowing, but it's fun. It's engaging. It's a well-polished questing. And those are my thoughts, and that's what you can expect. And I will see you on my next video.